Mohammed Noble and Richard Hope surprised the ABSA Off-Road Championship fraternity by out-qualifying the field on the Sun City 400. While Neil Woolridge and Ken Scholthammer break the Nissan stranglehold by posting the fastest qualifying time in the production vehicle category. Janelle de Villiers, now fully recovered from an elbow injury, and Francois Jordan romped to victory to give the proudly South African Nissan team its 4th successive win of the season. And Atang Makhakaneni and Bucks Carolyn in the Total Jimco add the Sun City 400 to their growing tally of wins in the Special Vehicle Championship.
The South African Off-Road Championship is proudly brought to you by ABSA. Speak to ABSA first for fast, flexible vehicle finance. We can also structure an asset finance solution to suit your business needs. It's really never been easier.
Sun City played host to the 4th round of the ABSA Off-Road Championship, with the event attracting 40 production vehicle and 35 special vehicle entries. The battle for supremacy in the production vehicle category was expected to be a closely fought affair, with Nissan and Ford fighting it out for overall and Class T honours, and Toyota intent on maintaining its stranglehold in Classes D and E. The factory teams were backed up by a number of highly capable privateers who, on any given day, were able to win. In the special vehicle category, Atang Makhakaneni had won 2 of the 3 races to date, and he and new co-driver Bucks Carolyn would have to pull out all the stops to keep a horde of Jimco's, Bats and Shamir Variawa's Porter at bay if they hoped to win. The battle in the lower classes was equally intense, with Class S for space-framed vehicles with trailing arm front suspensions quite capable of producing an overall winner from a group including Richard Schilling and Mohammed Noble. In Class B, there were at least 6 crews who could walk away with the honours. Krobler and Leek lead the production vehicle championship by 25 points from Woolridge and Scholthammer, but it's the competitors in the lower classes like the De Bruins and Mark Cronje and Chris Birkin who pose the biggest threat.
The arm's fine now. It's nice and strong again. I mean, I've been doing some gym work and stuff like that, but it's still very sensitive, so I can't take any knocks on it. So I'll be wearing I've got a arm brace which I'll put on, and otherwise it's fine, and it's strong enough to handle all the gear changes and stuff. It's nice to be back, and obviously we'd like to get on where we've sort of finished off, and it'll be nice to get a win here again, just to get the championship on trail again, because I mean, we obviously lost some points not being in Botswana, so we'll be going all out for it, and hopefully we can achieve the result.
We've been very consistent throughout the season so far, and I think we need to do the same. We don't quite have the same sort of horsepower as the 3.3 V6, but I think in terms of our reliability and the strategy where we sort of take it easy in the beginning and build on it, it's worked for us, and hopefully we can plan it that way throughout the season.
Ons ry met 'n bakkie wat Mark se bakkie van laas jaar was, en die meeste van sy groepe is uitgesorteer. Baie van die ouens het nuwe bakkies. En ons was net gelukkig dat ons bakkies probleme klaar uitgesorteer is. Hierdie nuwe bakkies is nou in hulle groei stadium en hulle het elke keer probleme gehad. En ons nou laas gesien met die Desert, Chris Visser was vreeslik vinnig in ons klas. Ons het probeer, maar ons kon hom nie vang nie toe hy nog reg was. So ek dink van nou af gaan die kompetisie al hoe sterker wees en meer evenredig, en ons gaan nou maar moet uithaal en wys om weer voor te bly, nog steeds voor te bly. Derde algeheel, ek dink dit is maar geluk aan ons kant. Ek meen, ons het nooit 'n kans om die voorste klas D's te vang, tensy hulle nie klaarmaak nie, maar ek meen, daai bakkies is so perfek gebou. Die kans vir dit is maar min.
The Special Vehicle Championship is delicately poised, with not one of the top 5 contenders able to afford a non-finish on the Sun City 400. Mekhekeneni and Carolyn are in top form, and the pair is seemingly unbeatable.
My performance at Sun City has not been very good, although we've had good time trials in the past, but last year we had a terrible race. We didn't finish. We had mechanical problems, and this year, because we're leading the championship, it's a good position because we've got less pressure than our opponents. There's John West Smith, there's Mark Corbett, and Terence March, Clint Gibson all over us, and we're just out there to drive to the finish. The car is good, everything's perfect. If we don't make silly mistakes, we should go home in a good position tomorrow.
Unfortunately, we broke down at the desert. The gearbox backed up. Marcus and them caught up with us, Marcus Taylor and them. They're just a little bit behind us. So yes, we've got a new gearbox in. The car's been prepared very well. Believe it's a very tough race. We'll take it easy, see how it goes. 400 km is a long way.
The desert was very hard. My first time finishing the desert. It was a big accomplishment for me. Nick Goslar is basically just staying in the race, trying to finish. And if I do well, I'm going to carry on and try and win the championship.
Noble and Hope surprised everyone when they posted the fastest time in the 40-kilometre prologue. The powerful Abe's Furniture Raceco was well suited to the conditions. Woolridge and Scholthammer were 36 seconds slower in the Team Ford Racing Ranger, but happy to be starting 17 seconds ahead of arch rivals De Villiers and Jordan in the Nissan.
300 sweep links deur 'n rivier. Rechts, ja. Meter, rechts is hier zo, rechts, ja. Sweep links deur die rivier.
There was drama for teammates Grobler and Leek. The power steering on the Nissan failed, and they would be forced to start the main event in 54th place.
Andere kant uit. Uit, ja. Zo rechts, ja. Nee, hier kan je niet uit.
There was drama in the Oven Fresh Biscuits pit, with Shamir Variawa frantically trying to sort out the clutch on the Porter. Variawa and Dudhier finally got underway.
We've had some problems we've been experiencing for quite a while with regard to the clutch, but just up until 2 o'clock they got everything sorted out, and they're A-okay. Looks like we're going to have quite a good time trial. And if everything goes okay, we're looking at a good position tomorrow.
Everything did go okay, and the pair managed to qualify 4th, 51 seconds behind the leaders. The special vehicle contingent was reveling in the dry, dusty Pilanesberg conditions. Henry Kirstein and Rainier Euster in the Atlas Copco Bat were only 24 seconds slower than Variawa and 19 seconds faster than Class D contenders Alfie Cox and Ralph Pitchford in the Arnold Schatz Cars Nissan. Class D championship leaders Cronje and Birkin in the Castrol Toyota Hilux 2.7i were only 10 seconds slower than Cox, while Nick Harper and Andrew Chalupsky in the Bat were a further 14 seconds behind in 8th place. Fricky Voiter and Blackie Swart in the Pro Code Jimco were only 1 second behind Harper and Chalupsky and 21 seconds ahead of Mekhekeneni and Carolyn, who rounded out the top 10 in the total Jimco. Only 3 production vehicles qualified in the top 10, with the remaining positions reserved for the Class A special vehicles. Castrol Toyota rookie Gavin Cronje and the experienced Robin Houghton were the highest-placed qualifiers in Class E, with Will Battershill and Reg Sutton showing the rest of the Class B field the way home in their new JRE. The top 53 starters in the Sun City 400 were separated by 15 minutes and 50 seconds, which would make the going rather tough in the dry and dusty conditions. Teams were hard at work getting the vehicles ready for Saturday's 3 laps of a 130-kilometre course that included river crossings, dongas and high-speed sections.
Well, you know, Class D Bucky, it takes a hell of a strain. I didn't ride here last year, but I remember from the bike days, it's very rough, and you don't realize until you get out there in a Class D. And I think about 15 k's from home, I noticed the steering wasn't straight anymore. And obviously we hit something. The road book, I believe, is shocking. There's just not enough things telling you of the dangers out there. And, you know, in a Class D Bucky, you need to know where the holes are because they get very hurt when you're doing the speeds that we're trying to. And the time trial is important. We're under pressure. It's Nissan versus Toyota versus Ford and the rest of the gang that are coming, Mitsubishi. So Class D, I think, is the toughest class at the moment, and we have to win the time trial. The dust is bad here, and we go all out for the time trial. 40 kilometers, and I'm happy we're 10 seconds quicker than the Toyota. We have to see what the rest of the guys have done, but that's the most important thing.
We had a problem about a K into the event. We hit a slight incline on the road, no rocks or anything, and I don't know, the rim, we must have smashed the rim. You can see the problem here. We hit it, there might have been a hairline crack or something in the limb. We don't really know, but this is the end result of our problem. So obviously we had to stop and change, and yeah, we lost our 4 minutes, and that's probably the amount that we're behind at the moment.
No one escaped the rough conditions in the prologue. The drive shafts on Manfred Schroeder and Jack Peckham's Class D Ford Ranger sheared, and they would spend hours rebuilding the differential.
Had a good run, took it easy. It was very overgrown, so in the long grass obviously you've got to be cautious, but no, the car was fantastic. It was good. Neil was on the money. He was just perfect. So we took it easy, conservative, but we went as quickly as we could within reason. You know, the car's magnificent. As normal, the guys have prepped it. It's excellent. So we look forward to tomorrow. It'll be a bit different now that the other guys are starting behind us. So we actually look forward to having trouble-free run again, clean. It's been a while. So see if we can hang in there tomorrow.
Just give us on the steering shirt off, but we fixed it, so the car's ready to run tomorrow again. But no major problems, but we'll stop it again.
Time is the greatest innovator. Yet, certain passions remain unchanged as their essence reaches history. The Absa Currie Cup. Timeless emotion, timeless devotion, timeless rugby on SuperSport this Saturday as the Lions clash with Atlantic Pumas and Investec Western Province play Mobile Blue Bulls.
What makes Ernie Els? How does Tiger play like a tiger? For the answers to these questions, as well as in-depth discussions, professional tips and highlights from all the tours, make sure you don't miss Super Golf. SuperSport's new golf program, hosted by Dale Hayes, Thursday night at 8:30, proudly sponsored by Telcom Business.
There was no rest for the technicians as they made last-minute adjustments. The Sun City 400 comprised 3 laps of a 130-kilometre course, with the first vehicle scheduled to come under starters' orders at 8 a.m.
If they come up behind me, I'm going to let them through. I'm racing my own race, my own pace, so I'm a bit nervous, very nervous.
Noble and Hope led the 75 starters away.
Starting as first in the mass start, which is 30 minutes behind the first car, we still must look at our penalty from yesterday, which is 18.5 minutes behind the leading car in our class, which means that we need to finish under 11.5 minutes behind the first production, or under 10.5 minutes behind the first special to win overall. It's just the way the timing works.
Providing the overall production and special today is the same as it was yesterday.
Well, that's to our advantage.
Yeah.
If it's not, it works backwards and gives us more
less,
time to get there, in fact. So we've got to monitor whoever's leading time-wise on South African Standard Time during the day and look at our progress. But at the end of the day, we've still got to make up roughly 18 minutes, which is going to be a hard job.
We lost a fan belt yesterday, so instead of blowing the engine up, we figured we'd just come in and start from the back again, but it's good fun.
Noble and Hope, who are relative newcomers to the sport, held on to the lead, but were already coming under pressure from Woolridge and de Villiers. Woolridge and Scholthammer piled on the pressure in the Team Ford Racing Ranger, but had de Villiers and Jordan closing in at a rate of 1 minute every 50 kilometres. On board the proudly South African Nissan Hardbody, which had the edge in the power stakes, but did not appear to handle as well as the Ford.
90 left, onder deur die brug en weer 90 left. Aber die voor die fotograaf links.
It's rare that a brand new car does not require development before it can reach the winner's circle, and this was the case with the radical American-built Porter of Variawa and Dudhia, which was plagued by clutch problems. Henry Costain is a wily old fox and capable of pulling off a win in the Atlas Copco Bat that he and Renier Euster now campaign in Class A. The veteran pair has won many regional championship races, but they have yet to win a national. Although Alfie Cox and Ralph Pitchford started 2 minutes behind the production vehicle leaders, their primary concern was to increase the 10-second gap they had over Class D rivals Mark Cronje and Chris Birkin. The Class D Castrol Toyotas are fitted with the 2.7i motor, which is outgunned by the Nissans, which are fitted with the more powerful 3.3-litre V6 engines. Hopper and Chalupsky have raced together for a number of years, and their consistency has earned them numerous podium finishes, but not that elusive overall victory in the special vehicle category. Toyota 1000 winners Makgekgeneni and Carolyn had overtaken Botha and Swart and were making steady progress to the head of the special vehicle field. The Procoat Jimco was previously owned by Greg Harvey and powered him to the Special Vehicle Championship in 2002. Botha needed to up his pace because Terence Marsh and Mike Whitehouse, who had made up 4 places on the road in the Nashua Mobile Jimco, were steadily closing in. The Mitsubishi V6 supercharged Jimco is a formidable machine, but minor problems forced them into retirement on 2 occasions this season. On board with Class E leaders Gavin Cronje, who rolled the Castrol Toyota Hilux during pre-race testing, and Robin Houghton as they tried desperately to overtake reigning Class D champions Hein Krobler and Gerard Prinsloo in the GBS Racing Nissan. They didn't have to try too hard because the Nissan pair got the Nissan beached. KwaZulu-Natal-based Will Battershill and Reg Sutton were still the Class B leaders, but had Chris Visser and Jaapie Badenhorst, who led Class E for much of day 1 of the Toyota 1000, in the Tyco Trucks Toyota Hilux, bearing down on them. Clint Gibson and Mike Brown finished 2nd overall in the special vehicle category on their last 2 outings and were chasing that elusive maiden win in the Presidium Bat, while Voss and Testeger, who started 19th on the road, were trying to close the 3-minute 47-second gap on the leading Ford. Class E championship leaders Hugo and Jaap de Bruin stripped 3rd and 4th gear in the prologue, and moments before this point, the transfer case on the Castrol Toyota Hilux gave up the ghost. Richard Schilling and Ashley Thorne had matters under control in Class S, but had yet to record a finish in the Plastotech Raceco, while father and son Cliff and Louis Weichelt seemed to have sorted out the niggling problems on their V6-powered Bosel N1 4x4 Toyota Hilux. Krobler and Leek were on a charge in the proudly South African Nissan hardbody, but were faced with the seemingly impossible task of having to make up 30 minutes on the leaders in 400 kilometers. John Ware-Smith and Jeff Minott are old hands at starting last and then winning overall, like they did on last year's Toyota 1000. Woolridge and Scholthammer nipped by Noble and Hope when they wrong-slotted, and now had a dust-free run ahead of them in the Ford Ranger. De Villiers and Jordan also took advantage of the special vehicle category leader's mistake and were now hell-bent on overtaking the Ford. Noble and Hope's run would come to an end when they picked up 4 punctures in quick succession and handed the special vehicle lead to Kirstein and Juster in the Nissan V6-powered Atlas Copco Bat. On board with the new Class D leaders. Reigning Class E champions Cronje and Birkin had got past Cox and Pitchford and were steadily increasing their lead. But behind them, a battle was raging in the special vehicle category, with Harper and Chalupsky coming under pressure from Makgekgeneni and Carolyn. who had managed to pass Bariawa and Dudhia when they picked up a puncher on the Porter. Cox and Pitchford decided to play a waiting game in their battle with Cronje and Birkin for the Class D lead. Class E leaders Gavin Cronje and Robin Houghton had 2 punches in quick succession and had to stand by helplessly as they lost position after position to their rivals. GBS racing crew Grobler and Prinsloo were the first to take advantage of the Toyota pair's misfortune, and then it was the turn of husband and wife Nielsen Zelda van der Walt in the diesel-powered Class E Nissan Hardbody, who were now the new Class E leaders. Hugo and father Jaap de Bruin battled along with only 2-wheel drive on the Castrol Toyota Hilux. The odds of a 4th successive Class E win seemed rather slim for the Vryburg businessman. Colin Matthews led Class B in the Peter Fumfie designed and built WPP. Castrol Toyota crew Cronje and Houghton lost 10 places as a result of having to replace 2 flat wheels and would have their work cut out if they wanted to wrest the Class E lead from the Van der Walt pair. Reigning Class S drivers champion Nick Gosler and Warren Bowie were the new Class S leaders in the Kopanong Hotel Super Team Raceco, but behind them there was a 3-way tussle for the runner-up spot in Class B. Reigning Special Vehicle Drivers champion Giel Nel in the Look ATE Truggy, Cape Town-based father and son Bez and Etienne Bezaitnote in the Adenco Sandmaster, and former Class B champions Marcus Taylor and Mark de Chalane in the JRE were mere seconds apart as they chased after leader Matthews. Richard Carolyn made a welcome return to competition to help the Kopanong Hotel Super Team shake down their recently acquired 1994 championship-winning Raceco. Unfortunately, the automatic gearbox overheated and his and Gareth Walk's race was run. Nissan pair De Villiers and Jordan took over the lead when Woolridge and Scholthammer stopped to replace a flat wheel on the Ford.
Stop.
The Nissan had the edge over the Ford in the horsepower stakes, and there was nothing that Woolridge and Scholthammer could do to close the gap on the leading Nissan. Mekheganeni and Carolyn progressively worked their way through the field in the Total Jimco and were third on the road and the special vehicle category leaders, ahead of Kirstein and Juster in the Atlas Copco Bat. Alfie Cox and Ralph Pitchford managed to overtake Gavin Cronje and Chris Birkin and were comfortably in the Class D lead. The Castrol Toyota pair also dropped a position to Hein Grobler and Gerard Prinsloo in the GBS Racing Nissan. Rookie Gavin Cronje and Robin Houghton piled on the pressure to regain all the positions they lost as a result of punches and led Class E from Nielsen Zelda van der Walt in the privately entered Nissan Hardbody, which was being nursed to the designated service point with a broken drive shaft. Based on cumulative times for lap 1, Grobler and Leek were 9th on the road after starting 54th and 4th in the production vehicle category, while Colin Matthews continued to lead Class B in the WPP. Taylor and de Chalane had got past Nell in the Bezuidenhout and were slowly closing the gap on Matthews. Richard Schilling and Ashley Thorne in the Plastotech Raceco were back in the Class S lead.
Clearly a sight to see. Supersport brings you the 2004 World Superbike Series at full speed and in full color. Sponsored with pride by Vodacom.
Faith in the spirit within is rewarded tenfold. Seeing past the limitations of self into the glory is what creates champions. Weighing only 45 kilograms and standing just over 5 feet, Josiah was thrust from cleaning kitchens into a challenge against the world's elite. My country has chosen me. This is what is best for my country, he thought. Finding the spirit within, Josiah Tugwani brought back gold, the first black man to do so for South Africa. Experience the real spirit of Athens 2004 on 8 dedicated Olympic channels on SuperSport.
On Track, your South African motorsport program, only on SuperSport. Thursday evenings at 6 on SuperSport 2 at CSN. Proudly brought to you by Vodacom.
One lap down and 2 to go for Sun City 400 leaders Janelle de Villiers and Francois Jordan. Neil Woolridge and Ken Schalthammer were 2 minutes and 15 seconds behind in the Team Ford Racing Ranger. Both the Ford and the Nissan had the fuel range to complete an entire race without having to refuel. Special vehicle category leaders Atang Machereneni and Bucks Carolyn in the Total Jimco had a 53-second lead over Henry Costain and Renier Euster, who opted to visit the pits to refuel the Atlas Copco bat. The windscreen wipers on the Foss Nissan weren't working, which made visibility a problem. The Oven Fresh Biscuits Porter was still plagued by clutch problems. Long grass caused overheating on many of the vehicles.
Got a good run this morning. We were on the BB Auto car, Class D car, and got past Alfie. And in the dust, he had a front puncture, and then one of the youngsters who was first on the road this morning let the car in front of us through, and then hit us as we came through. So 2 punctures, but we'll be back.
The Grobler Nissan had developed power steering problems, and thick dust forced the crew to wear dust masks throughout the race.
Lots of dust, but we're going well. We've passed a lot of cars. We've lost a couple of minutes now just checking something, but we'll keep it rolling, keep moving forward.
Frantic repairs were underway in the Van der Walt pit.
We actually broke the side shaft and we unlucky about it, or how can we say, we was first in class, so yeah, it's some of those things, so we just have to repair it. There's no way we can go on, that thing's going to jam and so forth, so we'll see.
Class F leaders Andre Botha and Beans Haydenrich rolled the Kopenhagen Hotel Super Team Chevy during the prologue.
Route, in my opinion, is tough, very tight, battle to get the big car around the corners, but yeah, we're holding it there and we keep going and the people are cheering us on.
Lap 2, and there was no stopping de Villiers and Jordan in the proudly South African Nissan hardbody, which, like the Ford Ranger of Woolwich and Scholthammer, had not missed a beat all day. Barring any unforeseen problems, Atang Machekaneni and Bucks Carolyn had the special vehicle category sewn up and were 2 minutes ahead of second place Nick Harper and Andrew Chalupsky in the Bat, which was handling far better after extensive development. Alfie Cox and Ralph Pitchford were third overall in the production vehicle category and the Class D leaders in the Arnold Chats Cars Nissan hardbody, with Kirstein and Juster now down to third overall in the special vehicle category after sportingly towing Marsh and Whitehouse out of the mud. Hein Grobler and Gerard Prinsloo were second in Class D in the GBS Racing Nissan and 90 seconds behind leaders Cox and Pitchford, while Variawa and Dudheer had moved up to fourth overall in the special vehicle category despite ongoing clutch problems on the Porter. Mark Corbett and Jean Moore in the Century Property Developments Bat were fifth in Class A, but soon to retire with a broken CV. Much to the delight of the large contingent of Ford fans, Team Ford Racing's Manfred Schroeder and Jack Peckham were third in Class D, but running without third gear. Mark Cronje and Chris Birkin were having a torrid time in the Castrol Toyota Hilux, which had stripped third and fourth gear and also had a broken exhaust manifold. Marsh and Whitehouse set a fast pace in the Nashua Mobile Gymco, but would later retire when the wiring loom short-circuited and caught fire. Grobler and Leek continued their charge, but battled with an ill-handling Nissan. The rear anti-roll bar broke and the ongoing power steering problems made the going rather difficult for the production vehicle championship leaders. Gavin Cronje and Robin Houghton disconnected the front prop shaft when they suspected the front diff had broken, but later discovered that second gear had in fact failed. Voss and Testeger twice got stuck after the starter on the Nissan failed and were sportingly towed out on both occasions by Manfred Schroeder. Taylor and Deschelaine were the new Class B leaders and setting a blistering pace in the JRE. To stay out of the clutches of Giel Nel in the Look ATE Truggy. Nel was in an unusually aggressive mood and pushing the Truggy to the limit. The Bezuidenhout's run came to an end when the tie rod arm on the Class B Adenko Sandmaster broke. Janelle de Villiers and Francois Jordan had a clean run on lap 2 and had increased their lead over Neil Woolridge and Ken Scholthammer to just over 4 minutes. The Team Ford Racing crew had also had a trouble-free run and were just over 15 minutes ahead of Hannes Grobler and Richard Leek, who were third overall on corrected time. Total Jimco pair, Atang Magegheneni and Bux Carolyn, had not put a wheel wrong all day and had opened up a 6.5-minute lead over Bat Racing's Nick Harper and Andrew Chalupsky. Harper runs Bat Racing in South Africa following Brandon Harkis's decision to relocate to the United States. Just look at the amazing suspension travel on Shamir Variawa's Porter. Cox and Pitchford had a third successive Class D win in their sights, while Klerksdorp-based Hein Grobler and Gerard Prinsloo in the GBS Racing Nissan appeared to be heading for their first finish of the season. Grobler is of the opinion that the #1 plate is jinxed, because on each of the 2 occasions that he has won the Class D championship, he has had a dismal follow-up season. Hannes Grobler and Richard Leek were third overall on corrected time, but had little hope of making up more than 15 minutes on the leaders on the last lap of the Sun City 400. Former Class E champions Schroeder and Peckham were third in Class D, but they would soon be forced to retire with gearbox problems on the Team Ford Racing Ranger. Marcus Taylor and Mark Deschelaine had an 11-minute lead over Giel Nel in Class B at the end of lap 2. Lichtenberg 200 winners Hein Moolman and Cecil Fincham in the 4x4 Mega World Toyota Hilux were the new Class E leaders, and only 85 seconds ahead of Hugo and Jaap de Bruin in the Class E championship leading Castrol Toyota Hilux, which was struggling along in 2-wheel drive. Castrol Toyota's Zane Pierce and Henny Vosloo were third in Class E, but retired when the diff broke 70 kilometers from the finish. The final lap, and Magegheneni and Carolyn, whose Total Jimco does not have the fuel capacity to complete an entire race, were forced to refuel.
Water in the tank as well.
Okay, this is lap 12 then. Jarno Trulli is still leading, and we've got plenty of racing still to come. Oh no! Oh my goodness me! Just like Hockenheim a couple of years ago, we've got a lunatic on the track down the Hanger Straight, 160 miles an hour.
What on earth are you doing? Luckily then the marshals have got to him now, safety car deployed.
Well, what can you say? That is absolutely unbelievable.
This August, it's time to show your true colors with DSTV. Black, green, or gold. Make your choice in the Tri-Nations. Dress up in white, blue, or green, and join the boys as they head for Sri Lanka. And find out who will have the last laugh on the greens of Whistling Straits. Celebrate humanity as nations unite. Supersport brings you 8 dedicated channels with all the colorful emotion. Multicolored sports coverage this August on DSTV.
Let's take a look at how the production vehicle category contenders fared. De Villiers and Jordan had no equal and romped to their 2nd win of the season and Nissan's 4th successive victory in the 2004 ABSA Off-Road Championship. Woolridge and Scholthammer trailed the winning Nissan by almost 11 minutes and finished 2nd for the 3rd successive time to move to within 18 points of Grobler and Leek in the ABSA Production Vehicle Championship. Grobler and Leek were unable to make up the 30-minute deficit and eventually settled for 3rd overall, just over 24 minutes behind their proudly South African Nissan teammates. The Class D win went to Alfie Cox and Ralph Pitchford in the Arnold Chatz Cars Nissan, with Hein Grobler and Gerard Prinsloo picking up their first finish of the season in the GBS Racing Nissan. Lawson Testierge survived the day to finish 6th overall and 4th in Class T, while new kid on the block, Hein Moorman, showed the factory Class E entries the way home. Henry Zamatin and Bodo Schwegler broke 3 rims on the Mastercraft PlayStation Pajero, but still managed to finish 3rd in Class D. Nielsen Zelda van der Walt had the Class E win all but sewn up until they lost time repairing a broken drive shaft, while Gavin Cronje and Robin Houghton lost 3rd and 4th gear on the Castrol Toyota Hilux and were forced to retire. Class D winners on the Nissan Dealer 400, Paolo Piazzamosso and Rod Herring, had oil pressure problems. The rear diff failed 3 kilometers from the finish, and they also lost 1st and 2nd gear on the Castrol Toyota Hilux. All in all, it wasn't a good day for the Castrol Toyota team, with 3 of their 4 Class E and D contenders sidelined with drivetrain-related problems. Surely that's not the road. Johan Gerber and Coetzee Labuschagne managed to finish 12th overall and 5th in Class D in the GBS Racing Nissan, but teammates JP Augustin and Johan Dubel retired with a broken rear suspension on lap 2. Brothers Yuri and Andre Duplessis nursed the BB Auto Nissan home after the engine mounting broke and were happy to finish 13th overall, while the Weichels lost time replacing the diff on the Bosel N1 4x4 Toyota and had to settle for 14th overall and 6th in Class D. Mike Thompson and Brian Haviland survived the tough conditions on the Sun City 400 to finish 15th in the AK Sport Colt, which is in effect a Class D spec vehicle entered in Class T. Gustav and Eric Visser managed to finish 16th overall in the ex-Enzo Keen Works Colt. Newcomers Chris Fick and Rob Knight finally earned their first finisher's badge when they brought the Coppernon Hotel Super Team Land Rover home 17th overall and 7th in Class D, ahead of last place finishers and Class F winners Andre Buerter and Beans Haydenrich in the Super Team Chevy. Janelle de Villiers and Francois Jourdan scored back-to-back wins on the Sun City 400 to bring Nissan's tally of victories up to 22 in 28 starts.
About 70 k's in, we had a puncture, but we changed it very quickly, and we were still behind the Ford, and then he had a puncture, and then we overtook him, and then it was just sort of a question of managing the lead. So it was a bit more open at the back, but yeah, in the rough stuff we took it really slowly not to get another puncture, and no, it was a good race, good to win again.
It's been a long day, you know. Unfortunately, it turned out to be a hell of a lot faster than what I was hoping it's going to be, because in the time trial it was very tight and rough, and we were, you know, the car was really good in the tight and rough. and you know, we got it on pole, so it was really great. So I was hoping the whole race would be like it, but it didn't. It opened up quite a lot, and as the race progressed, the second and third lap just got faster and faster and faster, and we just don't seem to have the legs that the Nissans have got. You know, we're closer, we can catch them in the tight stuff and the rough stuff, but the moment it gets onto the fast flowing stuff, they manage to pull away. So we had a puncher this morning, which we lost 3 minutes, and just gradually just edged away from us all day. And then the last lap we thought, well, you know, unless something happens to them, we're not going to do it, so we just backed it off a little bit.
Class D winners for the third successive time this season, Alfie Cox and Ralph Pitchford.
It's been a real pressure day today. I mean, the Toyota got past us this morning, but really going like a bat out of hell, and we thought, no, we're going to race our own race and let them carry on. And BB Auto got past as well, but they were going really, really quick in the stones. And before you knew it, there was tragedy ahead, and yeah, we just played the waiting game and then gave it hard in the second lap, and it's paid off. The van has been unbelievable, really. The pickup has been unbelievable, and the guys have worked very hard to get it here. Yeah, we want to win the championship. That's what we want to do, and finishing is going to make us win it.
Ja, uiteindelik het ons geluk nou 'n bietjie gedraai. Ons het dan vandag nie gebreek soos al die ander kere of gerol nie. En ons het net een paar wiel gehad. En verder was die bakkie goed. Hy het ons huis toe gebring. So 'n bietjie gesukkel met die geel lig ook, maar ons het dit daarom uitgesort. So ons het daarom nou, dit lyk asof ons geluk gedraai het.
7 Nissans in the top 12 positions, with Toyota having to settle for 3 and Ford and Mitsubishi 1 each. Atang Machekaneni and Bucks Carolyn romped to victory in the Total Jimco to open up a 47-point lead in the ABSA Special Vehicle Championship, ahead of Nick Harper and Andrew Chalupsky, who finished second in the bat. Shamir Variawa and Nadeem Dudhia persevered to finish third overall in the Oven Fresh Biscuits Porter, while Colin Matthews got the better of the Class B field and finished over 23 minutes ahead of Peel Nell in the Look ATE Truggy. Class B winners on the Toyota 1000, Hamish and Alistair Stubbs, could only manage to finish third this time out. John Ware-Smith and Jeff Minnett had steering and brake problems on the Kopanong Hotel Super Team Jimco, but still managed to claw their way back from 55th to 7th overall at the finish. Roy Slaver, who has only one arm, and son Milton had a steady run in the Piet Retief Engineering Chevy and were classified 8th overall at the finish. It was a good day for Zarco, with Hendrik and Louis Ferry and John Thompson and Clinton McNamara finishing 9th and 10th respectively. The locally designed and built special vehicle is gaining in popularity due to its low cost and durability. Brothers Derek and Peter de Wit were the last place finishers in the Class B Prolong Orca.
Looks like we're on a mission this year between me and Bucks. We had a wonderful race. The car was flawless. We are also impeccable as a team. We make a very, very good team together, and that's the secret behind our success to date. In the last 2 races we met, we've won all the 2 races in our class. It's been wonderful, and I think there's a few races ahead of us this year. We're very, very positive, yes. As the car is good, as long as we don't make mistakes, which we don't anymore, we'll be there at the end of the year.
I love the champagne. We only win because I like drinking champagne, otherwise no reason to come off-road racing.
It was really nice. I got a puncture in the beginning. Well, first I passed Mark and Mark because I think they had a puncture. And then got past them, and then I got a puncture. They came past me, Giel Nel came past me. And then Giel Nel, I think, had a problem in the pits. I managed to get the jump on him in the pits. And then, man, 5 Ks out, Mark and Marcus are broken down. They handed it to me. So it was good to be in for it.
5 Class A and 6 Class B finishes on the Sun City 400, which was described by many as being the toughest yet.
The South African Off-Road Championship was proudly brought to you by ABSA. Speak